Hi guys, Darth Deuce here with another Star Wars: The Black Series 6-inch action figure review. Today I have a couple of the brand new figures from the new wave of the 6-inch Black Series line. And the first one I got to take a look at is the new Rebel Trooper. This is one I think a lot of people have been excited for. It's really cool. We got a lot of Imperial Troopers. It's nice to finally get some army building Rebel Troopers to go against them, so that's really cool. And especially after Rogue One, I think a lot of people want to get their hands on a figure like this. So here's in the packaging, you get your standard Black Series packaging, figure inside with all his accessories, an image of the Rebel Trooper. He's number 69. Another image of the Rebel Trooper, and a brief bio which says, drawn from many homeworlds and species, Rebel Troopers were the Alliance's frontline soldiers in the war against the Empire. They defend the Alliance's leaders on countless worlds and during many operations, changing uniforms and tactics to meet each challenge. So yeah, pretty cool. Again, pretty cool to finally get a Rebel Trooper army builder. So I'm going to get this guy out of the packaging. We'll take a close look at the figure. Alright, so now we're here with the Rebel Fleet Trooper, or Rebel Trooper, out of the packaging. And this figure is really cool. It actually does some new things that the Black Series, no Black Series figure has done yet, as far as I know. Mainly when it comes to articulation. It has some new articulation, which I'm happy to see, and hoping it starts to be put in with more figures into the Black Series. But we'll get into that. For the most part, this is a really solid figure. It's, like I said before, really awesome to finally have a army builder of sorts for the Rebel Alliance, finally, to go against your Imperials. We've had plenty of Imperial Troopers now. Here's a head sculpt. It does have face print technology used, I think, on one of the Rebel Troopers in episode 4 that gets the close-up. I think it's him. I don't know the actor's name off the top of my head. But really cool. It looks really good. We'll get a close look here in a second, but the eyes are painted really well, and the eyebrows and the lips look really good. Got a nice sort of stern expression going on. As you can see, it does have the Rebel Fleet Trooper helmet, which I really like. I've always loved the design of the Rebel Trooper helmets. Just a flat white. It has a nice sculpted detail. Got the black part paint on the front there. Sorry. You also have the antenna here, which has some silver paint on the side box here, as well as silver paint for the antennae. And what's really cool is you can actually remove the antennae. So if you were army building these and you wanted them to have different helmets, there were versions of the helmet that didn't have the antenna, so you could do that. It is a little finicky to get back on, I will say that. It's not exactly the most enjoyable thing to do. But you get in there and it fits in there pretty good. Like I said, you can remove it. Antenna's coming off, I'm going to have to fiddle with that later. Here you get the full head sculpt. You got the hair, which is nicely sculpted. It's got mainly gray with some brown streaks in it, so that's pretty cool. And the rest of the figure is decently simple. You just got the uniform that they wear. You get the black vest here, which is decently pliable. It has some nice sculpted pouches and wrinkles and whatnot. The blue shirt underneath is nicely sculpted, or sculpted well enough to simulate fabric. Got the belt here, the silver belt buckle, which looks good, and you got the belt. And you do have a working holster for his blaster, which will show off the sculpting detail on that. Looks pretty good. Pants look pretty good as well. With some nice sculpted detail, some nice sculpted pouches or pockets, which looks good. And you got the glossy black boots, which look pretty good as well. In terms of articulation, is pretty good for the most part. Oh yeah, and you can remove the vest if you wanted to. I'm not going to because it's pretty finicky, but you can. He has that new sort of double ball joint in the neck. But for whatever reason, they've decided to make this figure's head articulation pretty limited. It rotates fine. There's barely any down movement, like no up movement, and not much pivot. So it's pretty limited. It's almost only a swivel, which kind of sucks. It is the ball hinge at the shoulders move pretty good. Ball hinge at the elbows, which move This one just moves slightly past 90 degrees, but the one on the left actually moves decently past 90 degrees. So I don't really know why one moves better than the other, but it does. Then he has ball hinges at the wrists. This one goes up and down. This one goes in and out, so that's pretty cool. He has a ball joint at the torso. And then new articulation for this figure is, if I move this out, this figure actually has butterfly joints. It's really cool. You can move the arms back quite a bit. Unfortunately, what they're going for, I'm assuming, is they gave him the butterfly joints so you can get better blaster poses for that scene in A New Hope. And the butterfly joint moves okay forward. It moves more inwards than, a normal Black Series figure, but the vest, the vest blocks a good amount of the articulation, just because it's just in the way, in between the torso and the arms, just in the way. And you don't really get, I think, the intended effect from those joints, which is unfortunate, but I do appreciate the attempt. And I hope we get more butterfly joints on Black Series figures. He has ball joint hips. He moves out pretty good. Kicks forward pretty well, actually. Sole cut the thigh, double hinges the knees, and hinges the ankles, rocker joints. So he's got all the articulation you'd expect. So this figure does come with a nice amount of accessories, as you already saw. He does have the removable helmet. He also comes with this blaster. We've seen this blaster many times in the Black Series as of recently. It's come with the Maz Kanata figure, the Lando Calrissian figure, the Death Squad Commander figure. Come with a lot of figures lately. But the sculpt is nice, and they did take the liberty to add some more paint onto it. It's got the barrel painted, the little spot here is painted silver, and the end of the scope is also painted silver. So that definitely helps to sort of elevate the look. Like I said, there's a holster here. It can be slotted into the holster. It fits quite well, and it's not going to slide out of it, which is always good. He also has a trigger finger on his right hand, so he can hold that nice and tightly and naturally in the right hand. That looks really good. Like I said, those butterfly joints were definitely meant to try to get those sort of poses that they were aiming poses that they're doing in the movie. It's just not happening. Again, I appreciate the attempts, though. And lastly, a really cool accessory comes with the Death Star plans that are sent up from Rogue One, or at the end of the Rogue One movie, I do believe. This is a little data card or whatever. It's really nicely detailed for being pretty simple. It's just a gold circle there, has some nice black lines going around it, and I got these black sort of like details going on the card, which is pretty cool as well. And it continues on to the back. That's pretty cool. And you can hold it. In his hand. So you can give him to hold it. So that's also really cool. No way to really store it, but it's really cool you get that accessory. There's a lot of options there for display and whatnot, what have you. So that's really awesome. Quickly do some comparisons. I don't really have many ideas for Black Series to compare to. Just one I just grabbed. Here's the recent Han Solo. And they're about the same height, so the Rebel Fleet Trooper is around your average 6-inch scale height there. So I think that works pretty good. And then here he is next to the Vintage Collection 3 3/4-inch Rebel Fleet Trooper. And the Vintage Collection Rebel Fleet Trooper, I'd say, is definitely the definitive Rebel Fleet Trooper, that scale. The Black Series one's also really good. I don't know which one I prefer more. The helmet on the 6-inch one fits better, and he has a bit better articulation. Some of the details are better on the 3 3/4-inch one, believe it or not. They're both really good, though. And overall, this is a really good figure. I suppose it's not an essential figure because it's not like a main character or whatever. But if you're an original trilogy collector, I think you're just a Black Series collector, I highly recommend picking this one up. It's a character nonetheless from the original trilogy, from the iconic very first scene of the very first movie. I think it'd be a really cool one to have. And I know for a fact a lot of people are going to be army building this one to photograph and display against their Imperial forces. So this is going to be a popular one. So if you see it, I definitely recommend picking it up. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and may the Force be with you.